mentor just gives me life, all that gold and yellow. For some reason, I'm like gravitating to gold and yellow, and it's like life, the sun. And I'm not even an outside person, but lately I'm like, I'm so glad we're gonna have more sunlight on Sunday. Woo! I'm like so pumped. Like gold lately has been my thing. I'm like, oh, it feels so good. So thank you guys so much for rocking with us on the dumping ground. We are super uber excited for each and every person who likes, subscribe, follow us. We appreciate you from the bottom of our heart. We are here again to help support, connect, bridge. Tell us testimony your story. If you want to be on this platform, please reach out to us. We will willingly connect with you, network with you, and let's talk and do this journey together, right? All right. This one, you might want to get your tissues. This one, I'm just saying, you might want to get your tissue. This is very dear to me. We were talking to Kim in the green room, how God truly put things together and you don't even see it, but then you see it and you're like, what? Monday morning, we have a 6:30 call. And a couple of the prayer people were on our call, and they were talking about our theme, which is called Three Praying Sisters. On Thursday, we have a prayer line, and it's from 1:00 and it's 7:00 on Thursdays. And we were talking about, because we're in the March, right? And we try to do a thing, to make sure, we are align ourselves with God's purpose and assignment. So this month, we were talking about, we're going to be praying for widows, right? And my mentor, Shelly, she's on the podcast right now. She's saying, she's doing all these amazing comments. Thank you so much, Shelly. I love you. She's talking about, we're praying for widows, and she had no idea that I would have this guest on my show. I was trying to get off the mute so fast to say, wow, how God aligns things. And also there was a widow on the call, and she was like, oh my God, I'm so grateful that you're praying for us because we're forgotten. And okay, so then we have this beautiful lady. This is like I said, you might want to get your tissue. I'm trying not to cry. This beautiful lady I've known for years. I mean, we're from the same hometown, same everything. I mean, she's family, and she has two amazing boys. First of all, how do you say the word that you are? What? How do you say that word, Kim? Come on off mute. You might as well tell me. You are a neurophysiologist. What is that?
A surgical neurophysiologist. I guess that you can basically say it's like a fancy way of saying like a nurse to a neurologist. So we monitor brain and spine surgeries to make sure patients don't wake up like paralyzed or have any kind of nerve deficits from surgery. So
say that thing 3 times fast. I literally went to how do you pronunciate this to figure out how to say it, because I was like, I'm gonna let her say it and then I'm gonna try to say it. And it's a neurophysiologist. Is that it?
Mm-hmm. Neurophysiologist. You got it.
Girl, I practice that because we're from the South and it's hard. That tongue drags and all that stuff. I said I'm gonna practice this right here, but I'm so excited to have Kim Brown Stanley on my show. She's family. I am so glad to see her growth and see her blossom into what God has for her and listen to the voice of God. I mean, it just gives me goosebumps to just see you where you at when I know the story, so it just inspires me every time I see your smile when you trying on your, you have a stylish heart, so girl can dress. I mean, I don't know how she put these outfits together, but sheesh, the girl should be a professional stylist to the stars because she is, And then she get the stuff from thrift store. I'll be like, now when I go in the thrift store, I see nothing like this. But she can walk into a thrift store and find diamonds and jewels and stuff and put outfits together. It's just amazing, the gifts and talents that you have, Kim. And I'm honored that you are blessing the dumping ground with your presence today. And
Thank you.
just give us a little bit about yourself. I kind of gave you a little intro, but just tell us a little bit about yourself. I know your baby might be running in the room. That's.
I hope not. I've warned them. I've warned them. So I am really happy that I have an older one at times like this, so he can definitely kind of like help me manage him. So hopefully he won't run in here. But like you said, I don't know, you did so well. I mean, I'm a working mother, a mother of 2 boys, and I do have, I guess you could say like a clothing line slash, I don't really sell that much, but I sell, I'm sorry, I sell sweatshirts, and I thrift and I do stuff like that. And now I just started this podcast. It's called A Widow's Story. And so yeah, that's basically it in a nutshell. I don't have nothing major going on with me. I'm just like this simple girl. I don't really.
No. I don't know why you always say this simple girl when you are. One thing about you, you will find a hustle. You will find a hustle, and you will go for it. And it's always been commendable about you. You will find some way to do something, and it always stands out. Like your t-shirt, like your new sweatshirt. Even your phrases on that. I was like, look at her out here. It's just so cool to see you thriving. And when like I said, I know the story, right? And to see you smile, and I know sometimes even behind the smiles there's pain, but you are pushing through the pain, and I see the growth, and I see God using you in a mighty way. So let's start off by saying a widow's story. Yeah. No one wakes up to be I was listening to your episode, your introduction episode, and I subscribed to your channel. Please subscribe to her channel, support her, follow her, all these on her platform. I mean, these stories are really going to show you and to teach you to be appreciative of what you have, because it can be gone in a split second. And literally, that's her story. So tell me, I was listening to the intro, right? And you're saying you in church and God is telling you to tell your story.
Yes. So I feel like I can just see it right now. Like I can see I'm sitting in church, and I couldn't hear anything. I could not hear anything that the preacher was saying. All I could hear was tell your story. And I was just like, what is going on? Like, and it was crazy to me, because I'm really like trying to pay attention. I'm trying to be more intentional with, getting into the word and doing all these things. And it's just like, all I can hear is tell your story. And I was like, tell my story. And I did not even know like what that meant at all. Like I had no idea what he meant. And so I'm really just trying to kind of ignore it, because something about me, there's times, of course, when we are like super obedient, right? But it's like when we don't want to be obedient, then I'm like always like, okay, God, like, what do you want me to do with that? So this was the time that I was just like, I don't even want to hear whatever you got to tell me. I don't want to tell a story. There is no story for me to tell. And I think more, it was kind of like, I'm like super private, right? I'm super private. I don't really like to tell a lot about myself. And I was just like, tell my story. Like, nah, it's okay. So I just remember just, like I stated in the introduction, like I was fearful, because I just knew that he wanted me to tell my story in front of a camera, and he wanted me to talk. And like you said, all my life, all I've heard is, oh my God, you sound so country. And I was like, no way am I going to get in front of a camera and tell my story. I'm not talking to anybody in front of a camera. And so I tried to, I tried to find so many ways out of it. I said that I tried to come up with the book. I was like, oh yeah, this is how I'm about to do it. And God was like, no. There were some other things. I remember I was trying to figure out how I could like do something on Instagram and just write it all out, right? And just have a real plan and just tell my story that way. I even a while ago I was trying to figure out how I could come up with like a journal. And in the journal it was going to have like all these little faith things and kind of just, and I mean I was like, I'm trying to be obedient, but I just do not want to get in front of this camera. God was like, no, girl, that's not what I want you to do at all. So, I feel like he's definitely working on me. And this was just one of the things that he was, doing and trying to get me to kind of, I guess you can say, come out of my shell.
Mm-hmm.
And so, here I am. Here I am.
Kim, I would listen. I think I would have never thought, number one, you would want to do a podcast because like you're so private. You just don't, what I'm saying. And me when I saw it, I said, oh God, you doing what you doing to me. Like I heard the same thing. We are from Mississippi, so we have that southern drawl. We then you be like like you say you had the icks and different things and certain things you may not pronunciate right compared to where it's supposed to. You know what I'm saying? So all of those insecurities, I had the exact same thing. So when I saw you do the intro on TikTok when you was walking down the stairs and you were talking, I said, she didn't crack the code. She is, girl, she didn't crack the code. Like, you literally cracked the code because I said, wow, she is literally about to really allow God to use her to help so many of the forgotten. Like when that widow was on the call, I know a few widows, right? And we do forget that we go on with our lives and forget that they have to pick up pieces from their brokenness, right? But we're just running our race and we forget. But when I said, oh, they're going to have a safe space where they can really not trauma bond, right? But be able to just be like, hey, this is what happened to me. This is, I mean, grief comes in waves, but this is how I'm getting through. I mean, it just, I sent it to my sister because my sister's supposed to be doing the same thing. Because God told her the same thing. She probably listens. She probably gonna punch me in the throat, but that's okay. I love you anyway, right? Right? And she's supposed to be doing the same thing. And so me and Teresa sent it to her. It was like, look what Kim's doing, right? And she was like, she sent the emoji with the monkey where he hurt his face. But I was like, I'm not gonna beat you up, right? Because everybody has to go through their own time and season of when they're ready, right? I all have to go through that time and season. So what gave you that? So when you just decide to just be obedient, Kim? When did the obedience of this whole process started for you?
Woo. Let me just say, I feel like after Chris passed, God just kind of has been working on me, like literally working on me. It's so many stories that I have, but when he put this in my spirit, and then like I tried to run from it. Like I said, he came back. It was like around the end of last year, and he was just like, "Hey, I told you to tell your story," and it was just like this. I guess for me, it was compelling for me because I felt like, how, and let's think about politics, right? People don't like to talk about politics, right? Because of the fact of we kind of like, we don't want to be in an argument, or we don't want to like step on toes, right? And so the thing that God had been working on me, during this time was, hey, if you love me, then why don't you talk about me? Right? Why haven't you told what I've done for you? And he was just like, you can't be, what I'm saying, a Christian, behind doors, and then when you're out in public, you don't want to step on toes. So he was just like, I'm gonna need for you to step on some toes if it's real. And so I was just like, okay. I was like, okay. And so I want to say that that's the reason why the focus for me is not even so much of my story or other stories. I really want you to see how God just kind of shows up and shows out, right? Because that is really what my focus on this podcast is. Definitely our stories, right? Because we go through things, like you said, there's a lot of challenges that we go through, and it's gotten me to the point, where I am now. But I just want to say I'm only where I am because of him.
Absolutely.
So I think that was like the breaking point for me. It was kind of like, hey, he was like, hey, I'm gonna need for you to go ahead and do this. And so that's where I guess you can say I kind of just made up my mind. And again, it wasn't an easy decision for me at all, right? Especially not to do a podcast. Not only that, I didn't even really waver on this because somebody had asked me before. They said, well, is this just a podcast, like a voice podcast, or it's going to be like a video podcast? I guess that he had already basically told me like I didn't have a choice, right? So I never even thought about it, but it would have been easier. I thought about that, but no, so yeah, I definitely did not plan on doing a video podcast, but this is where I am. And so here I am.
So listen, don't stop. Okay. So don't do a voice. I did the voice. I tried to stay in don't, dude, just come on out. You know what I'm saying? I did the voice for 2 years and it was like, bruh, that's not what I said. Like partial obedience is still disobedience, right?
That's true.
That's just if you ain't gonna follow him 100%, you might as well just keep doing your own thing called free will, right? So man, I'm just trying to see, like, I'm just, for me, it's a place, where people to see God 100%. But it's also for you guys to be vulnerable to because who wants to keep opening up wounds, right? That you are trying to move forward on. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
So so that's the thing. So when I saw that, I was like, oh my God, and again, I know you're private, right? So you being that has to be a God thing, marching thing, because who wants to be vulnerable in front of a camera? You know what I'm saying? To get that scrutiny, to get that all of that comes with it. So I was like, you can just see God all over. I mean, it looks like your podcast has been in play for 20 years. I was like, man, I need to call her to see, hey, could you put some connects on mine? I mean, you could just your whole format, it was so engaging. I mean, it was like, okay, when the next episode? So how are you going to record? Like, how are you doing your episodes, or how are you getting your guests, or all that good stuff?
So, my story is going to be just, of course, like me. It's going to be just a monologue, telling my story. And I don't want to go into a story. My story is just, very, I guess you can say all in one whop. So I'm hoping that, you get the gist of my story, and then the rest of it, I wanted to come out with my guests. I want to talk about these things, like have these hard conversations like you were talking about how we feel, forgotten, or all the other struggles that we go through, right? And with guests, like, I've started out already with, people that I knew, friends. And then, I'm hoping that along the way that I get introduced or I meet people and I'm able just to get them to come on here. I have no rhyme or reason. I don't know how I'm going to navigate it. This is new for me. I have no plan. I have absolutely no plan. Okay, none of us ever. So you ask me this question, I don't have a plan. But I have thought about things. I want men to be on the show. I want to talk to, a man. I want to, talk to all ages. I even want to talk to somebody says, here I am, Lord.
Yes.
So I want to, talk to people that, are just starting out in this journey, and people that's also, well into this journey, to kind of even me, I'm still in this journey, right? So I'm still going through these things, and navigating these spaces. So, if there's someone that can help me along the way. So I definitely, I'm open to, everything. So yes.
First of all, you have the number one visionary. God is your number one visionary, and he's gonna just like strategically he set this up. So so number one, you're plugged into the strategic God who sets things up and the background, and it just plays out, and you're like, for real, God, like this is like again. So I feel like you don't have to. He's gonna bring you people. I feel like no, I don't feel. I know he's gonna bring you people. That's going to be willing to share and be vulnerable, and you guys are going to help each other. It's going to be like iron sharpens iron. You guys going to be able to help navigate, and he's going to even give you a support people, because think about it, it's you're going to need a filter to filter when all those different stories come to you, right? You already, Greek goes up and down, right? You're going to have a filter to filter those emotions out so they don't add on top of your emotions. You get what I'm saying? So I see a whole like reservoir around you that's going to help you through this whole process. The number one thing that I liked about it is your obedience. That is the number one thing. The process will come. Just keep walking in obedience. The obedience will yield every sacrifice. It will give you everything. Listen, I wish I would have listened. I probably would be so far ahead. Imagine 5 years ago, I would be so far ahead if I didn't try to take the wheel and navigate the dumping ground. If I would have just let God say, okay, what do you want me to do? I surrender. This is yours, blah, blah, blah. Like I do now. If I would have done that 5 years ago, where I would be right now. But no, knucklehead Makisha, because of my insecurities and all of my things that I had to work through, I delayed the process. So there's a lot of us who delay the process because of our fear, right? The fear of the unknown, right? That's the number. Fear and faith can't go together, right?
That's true. So true.
So it's either we're going to operate in faith or we're going to operate in fear. And I think for me, and it seemed like the same for you, it was the fear of the unknown, you know what I'm saying? And all of the insecurities and things. But when I say, Kim, I was looking forward to episode 2. And I know the story. I am looking for episode 2.
It's going to be a twist, though. This is probably the story that people probably don't really know, though.
Oh my God.
So, I know that people know the story, but it's not. I'm not going to. Yeah, it's like a little twist. It's coming from a different angle, because what I want to highlight in it is a little different.
Okay.
But again, I've tried my best to even when I was, because it's been recorded. So even when I was trying to do it, I was trying to, as you say, I was trying to do it my way. Let me just say this, that I recorded my story probably 3 months ago. I can't tell you how many times I re-recorded it, and then I just let it go, and then I just said what I needed to say. Because it's just like, I'm just going to say it. And so, yeah. So I'm in my way too. And not only that, I'm going to tell you this, God has been working on me because I'm like, many people might not know, like Chris, I know you know, but he was just like a jack of all trades, right? And so Chris would help me out with everything. So when I first started a Stylish Heart, which was my
Right.
clothing line, like I started out selling wholesale clothing, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so when I started that, the person that helped me and did everything was him. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
He picked
Yes.
up the camera, he learned how to use it,
Right.
everything for me. And so a lot of people don't even know that our downstairs was a whole studio. He did a whole studio down in the basement. And so when he passed, I remember that I no longer wanted to do anything with the Stylish Heart. I had to go and buy him a suit coat. I thought that he would be able to wear like a suit that he had in his closet. And they were like, oh no, because we're going to like tear it up. So it was like, oh, just go to a thrift store. That's what we tell our people, to go to a thrift store and get, a suit coat. And I was like, oh, I got this. Because thrifting is my thing. He about to be, he about to be fly, right?
Right. Right.
I go into the thrift store. It's me and my friend. We go into the thrift store and I literally almost pass out because it was just like, I think it was just doing what I love for something that I didn't want to happen. It was like a clash for me, right? So
Mm-hmm.
I immediately came sick. Like I picked something out, but I was like sick. I did not step foot back into a thrift store and I say enjoy it. I tried it out. Like months later, I tried to go. Same thing happened. I couldn't go in. Every time I go in there, I would get sick. I would almost faint. And so it was probably about a little over a year later before I went into a thrift store and like I was able to actually enjoy it. And so during that time, like I didn't do anything, but I would always go to him for like, you know what I'm saying? Hey, how does this look? Hey, what do you think about this? Hey, this idea, right? And so one thing that I lost was that person that was like,
The
my
cheerleader.
my cheerleader, right? My
Mhm.
cheerleader, the person that kind of like gave me validation,
Mhm. Mhm.
things like that, right? So then when it comes to making decisions, I don't have that. Like I feel
Mhm.
like I'm out here on my own.
Yeah.
And so now it's like, okay, I want to do something. I have like, I may take a picture or I may do something and I'm just like always questioning it. So I'm like,
Mhm.
does this look good? Does this look good? And I don't want to do it. And so when, I was doing this, especially now, like I'm speaking in front of a camera and stuff. And, you know, I question everything, right? And so God is just like, so what would happen is he'll have me do stuff and then I would try to get people to look at it. And it's not anything like they're not intentionally do it. They'll just get busy about, oh, I'm gonna look at it, and they never would. And then me, I'm like this prideful person, right? So then I don't want to ask again. I'm like, I already asked one time, and so it was forcing me to make these decisions on my own. Guys, like, who are you trusting? Trust me,
Yeah.
trust me, trust me. Even when it comes to that video that you're talking about, let me tell you about that video.
Oh my goodness.
So that video, I did that video. I don't remember if it was the very beginning of January or if it had to be the very beginning of January, or was it in December? I can't remember when I want to say it was in December when I did that video. It was in December. I did that video in December. I didn't like my wig. It was like standing up on my head. This is what's in my head. Christian and Ashton was out there with me, helping me, okay? And I was just like, man, I hate these photos, these videos. I was like, it's no way. I tried so many times to go back out there to get it done again. I never could find time. I was like, you know what? I gotta just put it out there. I just gotta do something and put it out there. But I hated it. I hated everything about it. And nobody was able to look at it and see it. And I was just like, this looks horrible. And I mean, it was just so much. I was just like,
and and that's the crazy part. We're so hard on ourselves. And I know it has to be hard for you because he was your cheerleader and your champion, so you not having that person to be like, yes, baby, try that, do that. I couldn't imagine. Like for me, it's either Ariel or Kevin. So I'm able to be like, hey, babe, how this look? Does this look good? Do you know? Oh no, they don't. You know what I'm saying? So I would be lost because we're so, and that shows me that I need to and stop getting mad because they, they, they won't respond fast I want them to, or they're like, man, I'm busy, you know what I'm saying? So it just teach me gratitude because I would have never even thought about, you know what I'm saying, thinking about your situation. And yes, he was your cameraman, he was your put your clothes together, I mean, help you. I remember that, man. So now God is forcing you to trust him, bruh.
Mhm. Yeah, he's forcing me. I mean, people just don't even understand. Like, he would pick the spots, he would do everything. He would
Yes.
literally go out and scout places for me to,
Yes,
like, you
I
know what I'm saying,
remember.
take my pictures, all
I
that kind of stuff.
remember.
So, yeah, so now that I have to do it alone, it's just like, he's kind of like, "Hey, you better start trusting me." And
Yeah.
I was just like, "Okay," and I put it together and I just say, "You know what?" And I just pushed the button. And I was just like, okay. So I was kind of blown away and so grateful for the response that I got to it. You
Yes.
know, I had a lot of people calling me and was like, I saw that and it gave me chills. And I was just like,
Yes.
because for me, I'm like, are you sure it was my video?
Yes.
I was just
It
like,
was your video. Your video when you especially when you're walking down the steps. To me, it was like you're walking away from the hurt and pain. That you're walking towards the new, the now. You picking up to move forward. I was like, oh my God! Like who told her to do that? I was like, she out here doing it. Literally, I mean, all the way down to your outfit. It was literally saying, I'm walking away. I'm moving forward from my pain. This is my widow story. I'm like in the pain, but I'm still moving forward in it. You get what I'm saying? As
mhm.
you were going down as you were going down the stairs, that's what it was like. Coming down from that. I was like, bruh, this girl. And like I tell you, even your intro first episode, it looks like you are a pro at it. It looks like it's just so, I mean, all the way down to your sponsor. I said, who is editing her videos? I'm out here on live. I might need to edit. Then I was like, nah, friend, you already got enough going on. We just gonna have to get some sponsors and just be like, hold on, time out. This is a sponsor from www. I was like, I nobody got time for to be trying to find nobody to edit no videos, but no, 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 no. That's just not the vision. But I mean, so Kim, I mean, you really are doing it, and I mean, man, trusting God is the lesson that's the lesson that I learned from being obedient and trusting his voice and just doing what he says. Like that's what I learned from your podcast, man. And just being obedient and on assignment. Like he gives us an assignment. Are we going to be a good steward over that assignment, or are we just going to just be like, no, thank you?
Cause it's so crazy. It's so crazy. One thing, and like, I feel like God has kept me in the book of Matthew and has taught me so many lessons through the book of Matthew. And I want to say, like, I probably could have been further along, but there's so many things that I was just like, when he would tell me to do stuff, like, I would just be like, for what? Why am I doing this? You know what I'm saying? Like, that's how I was. And when I look back over the things, when I didn't question him, I definitely moved along a lot further, and quicker, and I got to where I needed to be. But, um, he's definitely been working on me a long time. And so I just, I'm excited about it all. And and one other thing too that I want to just state, before we move, is that during this time, with this process, I became, of course, a widow, but financially, struggled, right?
Mhm,
And so one thing that I know, if you look at my Instagram, you'll see that it's a podcast / nonprofit,
mhm.
because I do want to help, widows, especially for me, my heart goes out to widow mothers.
Mhm.
Because there was a time where I think that I was just still living on, I guess you can say, a two
Yeah.
people income, right?
Yep.
So I didn't realize that when he left, I had to learn how to budget, right? For me
Yeah.
and my boys, right? Because I was like, I always had this safety net or somebody that could help out or whatever.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
so I didn't have it. And so there was a struggle for me. And I went through that, and I remember I was reaching out, trying to find like help and things like that. And I was just trying to find somebody like help me pay like a light bill. Like I was
Mhm.
just trying to do that. So this this right here is part of it, the podcast, but the other part is going to be, you know what I'm saying, me helping, me setting up like grants. I mean, and through my nonprofit to actually help out widow mothers, you know what I'm saying, or widower fathers.
Mhm.
And so that's where my passion, that's my heart really lies right there, because
Yeah.
I just know the struggle that I went through with that. And so
Mhm.
I definitely want to help. And so hopefully, like, towards the end of the year, I would start more into that realm, still doing the podcast, but I still want to help out on that end with the nonprofit. So yes.
So it's funny you're talking about nonprofit, and that's my goal, to do a nonprofit this year. So it's like really got like you really tripping today. Like you like you're really confirming things, and I'm just like, what? Like you just, I mean, I yeah, like yeah, this is really weird. This is
Well,
so
that's your
weird.
sign. It's your sign, Keisha. That means that you got to get it started.
Oh my God. I'm telling you, like, I already have the name. I'm working on my bot. I really have shout out to Chat GPT, bro. I'm telling you, Chat GPT is everything in my life. If my middle name was Chat GPT, it's ooh, girl, it's a baby. So I'm, working on my bylaws and trying to get this all squared away, because my heart, I want, you see God heartbreaking, and you want to be position to be able to help the brokenhearted. You know what I'm saying? So,
Mhm.
and that to me is a great way that I will be able to connect, to be able to bridge the gap. You get what I'm saying?
Mhm.
And then I don't get no glory, just all his glory. So,
Mhm.
man, dude, this is crazy. So, I just have one question for you. Stepping out. So basically, you done stepped out of faith. So the question was, stepping outside of your comfort zone, share a pivotal moment when taking a risk lead to a significant growth. Well, you basically talked about it the whole time, but oh my god.
Um, let's see. I mean, I'm growing. I'm growing every day. I don't know if I have any just particular thing, of course, outside of like this podcast, as far as like,
Mhm.
um, and again, it's still a process because it's new for me.
Mhm.
But good question.
Basically, you done stepped out of your comfort zone. So I'll give you
Yes.
that. You have actually jumped out your comfort zone, because number one, we don't like cameras, and we don't like talking in front of the camera. So that is a pitiable moment that you have done, right? And you have taken a risk, with a calculated risk, because God said, tell your story, right? So now you're like, okay, now you just have to figure out how to navigate this calculated risk that you have. And he's going to give you the key components, because if he said it, then I'll be like, okay, you said it, so what's next? What we need to do, how we need to get this done, right? Because this is what you said. I didn't make this up, right? So I think that this whole journey is a pivotal moment for you, stepping out of your comfort zone. So this moment, I mean, you mastered the clothing, right? I know the the time that you had your cheerleader champion, but now you have God who's championing you on. And I know it's so easy for us to have a visible person or a person, the champion, but you have the King of Kings who created you, who knows everything about you, who knows how many hairs you have on your head and how many hairs you're losing on your head, right?
I like
Right?
turning them gray.
So, absolutely. So you have the most high God that is helping you and championing you, that is validating you and saying, tell your story. And he didn't allow any of us to go through these things to not tell our stories. And I think sometimes us, especially women, we're like, I don't mess with women, I don't do that, all that stuff that we deal with and stuff. I'm an introvert, extrovert. I'm not none of that stuff. I'm a Jesusvert, whatever that is. If he send me on an assignment, I'll just have to go, and hey, we'll have to deal with it when we get there. But I just feel like this is going to be your season, Kim. You allow God to continue to download this podcast. Even this is just the tip of the iceberg for you. That's what Shelly said. She said, this is Kim's season. She said, something's major is going on with you, Kim, major. So just know he has not forgotten you. He hasn't forgotten your boys. He hasn't forgotten any of the widows. And matter of fact, this is what you have. You have his word to take care of the orphan and the widow. I'll be like, hold up, Papa. You said, and hold up. This is what your word said.
Right.
The widows and the orphans, right? So this is your word. So I just think this is going to be your season. You in the right vein. To be able to continue to heal, because it's a journey, it's a process journey. It's not, and grief comes up and down, right? And he's going to stabilize that grief for you, and you're going to definitely be a beacon to a lot of women and men to see, and they're going to be able to help you, and you guys are going to be able to help each other to see God. And that's your mantra. That's what you said in your intro, right?
Right.
I mean, you're gonna be able to, you're gonna look back. I say you look back next year around this time, you continue to stay on assignment, and you're gonna be like, wow, look how far I have gone, have grown, you know what I'm saying? I mean, it's gonna be good. I'm just, please tell me, I've subscribed, I follow, I did all this stuff. Tell people where they can find you, all your business endeavors, like all that stuff. Tell them about your social media, all that good stuff, so we can stay in contact.
Well, so I guess with the Widow Story podcast right now, I just have an Instagram page. It's at A Widow Story, and YouTube, which is also A Widow Story, is the handle. And so, I mean, I still do things underneath my name, because right now I have more followers underneath my name on Instagram, which is Straight Cute is the name. Well, I think that's it.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
Okay. That's it. I've had it for a while. But yeah. And so, and then of course Facebook, but that's under me as well, which is Kim Brown Stanley. And so, but I would love for you guys to definitely follow me. And again, I thank you for, bringing me on to talk about this. And if anyone wants to definitely be on my platform, reach out to me. But yeah, so, again, kind of like what you said, we are, I don't know if we are really forgotten, but I think that we just feel like that, we just feel like we're forgotten sometimes, but we're not forgotten at all,
Yeah.
And I think that's just like everyone that's going through that grief process is going to feel like that. So yeah.
But I feel like it's definitely amplified for widows and widowers, because you had that partner that you created life with, and you never would have thought that this would be your outcome. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're going to grow old together in our rocket chairs on the porch, spitting out tobacco,
No, I get it.
You know what I'm saying? That's what you create in your mind because you're doing this thing for life, right?
Right.
That's your end goal, baby. We gonna be on the porch in Mississippi somewhere in our rocket chair with our back a cup, putting in and out our dentures. You feel us?
Most definitely. I mean, there's so many things, like even to this day, it doesn't always feel real to me. It doesn't feel real. Sometimes I feel like he's gonna like walk through the door, because there's just so many things like you just don't even realize. Like for me, like I hate driving, right? He drove everywhere. And so things like that, or I hate putting gas in my car. He did that. Or just having conversations. I don't have that. Hugging. My boys get so sick and tired of me. I hug them so much. Christian can't stand me.
Oh my God.
So, all of these things just, it's just like, well, who's going to do them? Like, who's going to do this thing called life with me now, And you have to kind of go on this journey like alone, and it makes you feel like this void, and whatever is gone, and so it becomes hard, and then sometimes it's a little easier, but yeah. And I think we just gravitate to everyone, right? So we just want to, we want to talk to you all the time. We want to talk to everybody all the time. We just want to just, be around people, because it just kind of fills our lives up sometimes. But I think that as I move forward, and, I'm learning to just kind of gravitate more towards the word, and trying to like get into that, and just trying to build and strengthen my relationship always with him, because ultimately that's where, what I'm saying, like I'm going to get my joy from. So,
Absolutely.
So
yeah. Like I said, I mean, I can see the growth. I can see, the growth that you have endured, and I mean, I couldn't imagine walking in your shoes and the pain that you endured through this process. The nights of crying, or all that stuff, man. I just couldn't. I couldn't walk in your shoes, man. You're something special, and this is your season to really just allow God to just download in you, and just really continue to just move in his assignment. I feel you're gonna feel so, and you can see the joy in your face. Like first of all, you're a planner, so I already know you off your rockers, because you don't have a plan. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You don't have your little list. You know what I'm saying? What you're trying to do, and you don't have no plan, no nothing. I know that's messing you up, friend.
I don't have a plan, and it's crazy, but he's put me in this situation a couple of times, and I'm just like, okay, I don't have a plan. Like, what am I gonna do? And so, but yeah, I don't have one, and so yeah, especially when you ask me that, he was like, well, how are you doing? I'm like, let me make something up. I'm like, well, no, I really just don't know. I don't. I do not know. I'm just kind of going, and I can say this. He gives me so many ideas at times. And so like sometimes I will go to bed and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna remember that idea. And then in the morning, I don't know, like I wish I would have wrote it down. So now I'm at a point where he gives me an idea. I stop immediately. If I don't have a pen and paper in the bed, I grab my phone and write that note down. I'm like, oh, that's good. I'm like, oh, that's good. And so that's how it is now. So I'm just like, oh, okay, I see it. I can see the vision. I could not see it at first. Like when I tell people I could not see it, but now I can. It'll be like, oh, I'm like, oh yeah, okay, I got it. Okay.
No, the funny part is you trying to write a book, man.
Yeah.
Tell your story in the book. Come on.
Yes, that's what I was gonna do, Keisha. I was gonna write a book out, and I mean, it sounds good, right? Because so many people write books and things.
Like, and they do the journals, and then they do the coaching. I mean, that's like 101, right? So right. I mean, that to me, I would have been like, I'm winning, right? Because I'm still writing this process on the thing, but he's like, nah, bro, I need you to get in front of this camera, turn it
I'm
on.
ready to get in front of this camera. Yes, it's been a journey for me. So yeah, but I'm, again, I'm thankful and I'm excited for it. I think like I was telling you, people were telling me that, of course, like I was reading comments and like, oh, this is going to be healing for people. And I didn't see that vision, right? So that wasn't the vision that I saw. I was just doing this because God was telling me. And so for me, I didn't even see any of this. I was just like, what? And because for me, I was just like, well, if I just do this and there's just like one person that this message is supposed to get to, then I'm doing good. Like, and that's all I'm trying to do. I'm just trying to get this message to one person because that was my goal. And people were like, oh, it's going to be healing. I was like, is this going to be healing? Like, I was just like, okay. Like, okay, well, maybe this is what it's going to be. It's going to be healing. And you see how it just keeps developing. I'm like, okay, God, I see what you're doing, so.
Yeah, and that's how he operates, right? So you take one step of faith, then he'll download a little bit. So this is how I wish God would operate. That's why he don't mess with me. He mess with me. He'd be like, Makisha, you be doing too much. I'll be like, can you just show me the whole picture and then I run with it? You know what I'm saying? Like, show me the whole picture. Like, oh, I see it. That's so good. Yes, right. And let me run with it. It's like, no, I'm gonna give you bits. Okay, you did that. You mastered that. Another bit. You mastered that. Then the puzzles start to collide and come together. I'm like, oh, that's what we were trying to do. Just like I told you this morning, right? Monday morning, no clue. I was like, when I saw your podcast, and I had no guests for March, right? I was actually reaching out to different people. And you said March the 4th. I said, I just knew she was going to do later in the month.
No, I was like, let me get it over with. I was like, when you told me, I was like, I did want to pick the later date. But I was like, you know what? Just kind of let me just go ahead and get it over with, right?
I swear I thought you were going to pick. I said, ooh, she going to pick later in the month. I just know. Girl, your thing came back March the 4th. So that just goes to show you that God is so strategic how he does things, right? My prayer was on Monday, March the 2nd, right? Mm-hmm. Right? You were this month on Thursday, we're talking about widows this month, right? Mm-hmm. It all had to start from the first. It had to flow in. I'm like, what? But guess what? Could you just have shown me this? Could you just have shown me this? I would have complied. You know what I'm saying? No, it's like, I need you to be faithful over this. Boom. Once you're faithful over that, then I can show you this, and I can show you that, and I'll move you like that. And that's the big picture, man. And that's how he's gonna download. You keep walking in faith, keep walking in obedience. He's gonna just keep downloading the next step, man. So thanks so much, man. This has been so fun, man. Like I said, I'm so excited for you. I cannot wait to the next episode. I am subscribed. Thank
you. I appreciate it so much. I really, really do. I really do.
And anything I can do to help you, hey, reach out. I'm here. Listen, like I said, I don't know nothing about no edit. We can get in the edit together. My stuff is live, bloopers and everything. You get it all. We don't ain't no do-overs. It's all the way live over here in these streets. You know what I'm saying? So even in the reels, you're gonna get the blip. So it is what it is. I want you to see the authenticity of error, of human error.
I get it. It's beauty in error. It is so much beauty in it. Right. So I get it.
Right. So thanks so much, Kim. Again, tell everybody where they can follow you for your A Widow's podcast, and make sure you follow, subscribe for her channel. Tell her one more time, Kim.
A Widow's Story. That is the handle for YouTube and Instagram. A Widow's Story.
Thank you so much, Kim. It's been so fun. I appreciate you blessing the dumping ground.
Thank you.
Us being obedient. Jesus, thank you, Lord, for obedience. Okay, what's next, Jesus? What we got next, Lord? Thank you so much for your time. Thank you for following her, subscribing to her channel, follow, share, everything. She you put your episode on Facebook this week, right? I think it was Monday.
Yes, the introduction to the podcast. Yes.
So take a look at that on her personal page and follow her other handlers as well. Thanks so much, Kim. It's been fun. So good. I gotta get out there. It's just life just been lifing, and people been peopling, but God has been guiding. You know what I'm saying?
I understand.
So we're gonna get it together. We're gonna get it together. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate you from the bottom of my heart. If you need anything, we are here to support you. And we look forward to seeing you in a couple of months where you could, tap back in, let us know where you at.
Yes,
So
I
we
would
can
love to come back and give you an
Yes. Yes. So that's gonna probably be your 50th episode. Woohoo!
update. Not 50th, but hey, okay.
You can right now you can have about 50 episodes, girl. God's gonna put it down you so fast, you're gonna be like, Lord, wait, slow down.
I'm not gonna complain. I'm not
Okay.
gonna complain. I'm ready for whatever he has to give
Absolutely.
me.
He's
So
gonna
yes.
have something amazing for you. Well, thanks again, friend, for joining us tonight. We appreciate you again. Like, follow, subscribe our channels. Until next time.
All right.
Bye.